You know, I haven't gone after an everything wrong with video in quite a while, so I think I need to change that. Everything wrong with It's a SpongeBob Christmas? That works just fine.
I'll admit, this is actually a great idea to make a Christmas special in the old animation style that most of us grew up watching, so I'll remove one sin from that. The road goes from being just a dirt road to now being a paved road.
Before we get into the sin itself, I just want to say this guy has a weird habit of putting the subtitles for multiple sins on screen at once. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but it is definitely kind of annoying, especially if you're using the subtitles to help follow along as to which sin we are currently on. To speak personally, when I cover Cinema Sins videos, subtitles are a large part of the way I determine when exactly I want to cut a clip while editing. However, that is much more difficult to do when the subtitles for the sin right before or right after are on screen along with the one I want to cover. Here, for example, the subtitles for both the first removed sin and the first sin are on screen simultaneously, even though those are two entirely different sins and therefore I would assume are worthy of their own subtitles. Again, this is far from the biggest deal in the world, but I figured I would point it out. As for the sin itself, it doesn't make any sense. You do know there are places in the real world where paved roads turn into dirt roads and vice versa, right? This picture of exactly that occurring in Loudons County, Alabama serves as an example.
Acorns are toxic to rabbits, so what is the reason these rabbits are holding them?
Maybe these rabbits aren't aware of that fact. Also, just because you can't consume something, that doesn't mean you can't hold it. Rabbits can still hold acorns just fine, they're just unable to eat them.
I'm sure Potty is some sort of tropical parrot, which his species can't handle the cold too well. And on top of that, they are heading to the North Pole, which is one of the coldest places in the world. I highly doubt that jacket that Patchy's wearing is gonna keep him warm when they hit the areas where the temperature hits below zero.
Given them being cold is quite literally a conflict in a later part of these segments, that was on purpose. Patchy had poorly thought this plan out for the sake of the narrative. Why is that a flaw with the episode in of itself exactly? You don't even claim there's really a narrative problem here, nor do you say it's inconsistent with how Patchy's normally characterized. You just point out what's going on as if that wasn't intentional by the people behind the episode.
Potty, you silly parrot! Everybody knows that the directions to the North Pole are right in the lyrics of the song Jingle Bells. Dashing through the snow, through the fields we go.
That's not how the song goes, Patchy. And no, that song's definitely not gonna get you to the North Pole either.
Yeah, that's the entire joke. Patchy is basing this off of a misremembering of the song, and also this is a very bad idea. You aren't actually saying things that are wrong with the episode, though, because this isn't a problem. This is another thing that was done intentionally, in this case more for the sake of humor. You're not sinning the actual product, you're sinning things the character does in the product, regardless of why exactly it was done.
Snow, how does that work underwater?
The same way it works in real life. It's called marine snow, and it's made up of organic material that has fallen from upper waters to the deep ocean. Also, you accidentally added 2 sins instead of 1, hence why the sin counter goes from 7 to 9.
The string of lights that SpongeBob is holding stretches out longer than its original length to wrap around his house.
And you know this how exactly? How long was the string of lights? How much longer did it need to be stretched out in order to fit over SpongeBob's house? How did you come to this conclusion?
I'm amazed that Mr. Krabs went through all the trouble putting up all these Christmas decorations and lights up, which probably cost money to buy. The lights will definitely run up the Krusty Krab's electric bill by 90%.
No, it wouldn't. For reference, running Christmas lights is most expensive in the US, at least, in the state of Hawaii, where it adds $38.46 to your electric bill on average. Given the average electric bill in Hawaii is slightly more than $400, that wouldn't even be an increase of 10%. I have no idea where you got 90%.
There's literally more coal coming out of that stocking than there should be.
How much coal should there be in that stocking, though? This is another one where I just don't get your reason for thinking this. Don't get me wrong, this is SpongeBob, so I wouldn't be surprised if there was a stocking that had more coal in it than there should be, or something along those lines. However, you still need to explain your reason for thinking this. Otherwise, your audience is just going to be confused.
I'll give everyone a bikini bottom a present of the most innocent of all holiday goodies, the fruitcake. Once ingested, no one can help becoming the biggest, creepiest, meanest jerk ever. And Santa will realize that Sheldon J. Plankton isn't so bad after all.
And what was that about Santa seeing everything you have done over the years to get you on the naughty list, Plankton? I'm pretty sure Santa is listening to your plan too.
Spoiler alert, he's not. In fact, Plankton nearly gets away with this plan. Fuck, even by the end of the episode, we're not really sure Santa knows about this, given it was the failure of Plankton's robot SpongeBob plan that caused him to be exposed, and not the revealing of his Jerktonium plan. That almost succeeded. I should also note, in the sake of fairness, I think this guy got this impression because Plankton said that Santa watches every scheme he does and every naughty deed is written in his scroll during a song directly before this point.
He sees everything I've done, every plot, plan, and scheme. Every naughty deed is written in his scroll.
However, this could easily be brushed off in universe as Plankton just hyperbolizing for the sake of the song, as opposed to him genuinely forgetting what he had just sung.
So how does cooking something underwater work?
I assume using some kind of sous vide method.
Well, I want to sing the only Christmas song that matters, and that's Jingle Bells.
No! Hold your holly! We're singing the best Christmas song ever, and that's Silver Bells!
Wrong bells, buddy!
Well, actually, there is a song called Silver Bells.
I assume the writers were aware of that, hence why they decided to name drop it in that scene. What the fuck is the sin here?
Again, how does fire work underwater?
Again, I assume the same way it would in real life, because this does happen in real life if you have both oxygen and a fuel source, contrary to popular belief.
I guess it's time to introduce Plan B. Now go, my automated agent of naughtiness. Go and destroy SpongeBob's good name.
I'm sure Santa's not that stupid to realize that's not SpongeBob.
You're sure? You're really sure? Because I hate to inform you, but Santa does confuse that robot for SpongeBob, and put SpongeBob on the naughty list as a result, which is revealed within the episode's climax.
On the contrary, SpongeBob, you're the worst of all. Well, there you go right now. Wreaking havoc.
Meanwhile, Patchy and Potty were filling in the runtime.
So has everything else in the episode? Why is this a sin exactly? What's wrong with the Patchy segments merely existing in this episode? Yeah, this is another one I just don't understand because of this guy's refusal to elaborate.
Why don't you kids at home go make a nice hot cup of cocoa while Potty builds me a fire?
In other words, commercial break.
A smooth transition to the commercials is now a sin? What exactly is your standard for what a sin should be? You do know these are supposed to be things wrong with the product, right?
Patchy doesn't break all his teeth as soon as he bites into the log.
Yeah, because biting into logs doesn't cause you to immediately break all your teeth.
The fruitcake is contaminated with Jerktonium. No wonder I've been as ornery as a sidewinder on a hot driveway. Where'd you get that fruitcake anyway?
From Plankton. He baked it.
You took food from Plankton and fed it to everyone in town?
Uh-huh.
You're an idiot.
Sandy would also be good at cartoon Christmas sins, right, SpongeBob?
Uh-huh.
Never mind how Plankton's a restaurant owner whose entire goal in the series is to figure out how to create the best burger possible. Hence why he wants to steal the Krabby Patty secret formula? If anything, SpongeBob has no reason to believe that Plankton's food has anything nefarious about it, again, given his job is literally to make food for people.
I'm afraid I'm the bearer of bad tidings.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. It seems you're all on my naughty list this year.
Naughty list.
No buts about it. You've all been a bunch of jerks.
And again, what was that about he sees everything you do? Then he should know that Plankton was behind all this.
Or SpongeBob was incorrect or speaking metaphorically when he sung that specific lyric in the opening song? That's also a very strong possibility. Santa never said he saw everything. SpongeBob and Plankton did. While showing a Santa that looks rather different than the one in the episode, by the way, again communicating to the audience that SpongeBob's views on Santa Claus aren't entirely accurate. Anyway, that's all I want to cover, so final thoughts. Although this isn't the worst Sins video I've ever seen, it was not very good, and the arguments in many cases didn't make sense. Good night, and good luck.